There are so many pressing issues when it comes to Earth and the problems that we have caused.
The flora and fauna in Antarctica and the Arctic have been impacted by the changing temperatures and climate over the past couple of years.
And ocean acidification has caused coral bleaching in many tropical coral reefs all over the world.
We'll begin with the flora of both the Arctic and Antarctica. Despite the drastic changes in the temperature due to climate change around the world, plants have managed to survive in these crucial temperatures with the ability to adapt.
About 200 million years ago, many plants died out due to the continent splitting. Many fossil remains were left and discovered in the western Antarctic Peninsula. These discoveries led us to find that before the splitting of the continents, these parts were very green.
These discoveries were also able to help us differentiate normal plants from vascular plants, which are most common in the Antarctic. These organisms don't have roots, meaning they don't take nutrients, but are also able to absorb water easily despite the cold temperatures.
Because of the rapid warming temperatures, there might be changes in the plant life of Antarctica, but over the past couple of years have shown that they can adapt to their new environment quickly.
A couple of species of plants found in the Arctic and Antarctica are Arctic willow, pasque flower, bearberry, Arctic poppy, lichens, Antarctica hairgrass, and Antarctica pearlwort and moss. The National Snow and Ice Data Center graph illustrates that the amount of snow and ice will decrease between August 1st and November 1st. We can see the graph creating a U shape. In 2012, we can see that the ice and snow were at its lowest as well as in 2019, from being at the extent of about 13 million square kilometers in 2012 and 2019 during January 1st and July 1st. Both went down to the extent of about 4 or 5 million square kilometers between August and November. The reason for this is climate change, which is among one of the biggest threats to the poles. The amount of carbon dioxide emissions has been rising for many decades and still continues to. It doesn't help that we are contributing to this problem by burning fossil fuels when we drive a car, power our homes, etc. It is claimed that the Arctic is experiencing warming at twice the rate of the rest of the planet. From 1979 to 2005, sea ice over-declined by about 20%. Scientists have discovered that the ratio of thick to thin ice is changing. In years past, the thicker ice was about 40% of total ice cover. Now it's down to just 10%, and the Arctic may have ice-free summers by the end of the 21st century. Due to these impacts, the fauna of the Arctic will experience major changes, from organisms we can't see with the naked eye to animals like polar bears. Polar bears, for one, are affected because they rely on the ice to catch seals for their winter meals. As the ice declines and breaks up, polar bears will have less time to catch seals and survive. Species that are found in Antarctica, also known as the Southern Ocean, are the weddell seals, ice fish, and emperor penguins. A couple of pole-to-pole shared species are krill and copepods, orcas, also known as killer whales, and Arctic tern.
Ocean acidification and warming ocean waters are a negative effect on coral. The ocean becomes more acidic as a result of absorbing around 1/3 of the extra carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. A coral reef has to create calcium carbonate more often than it is being damaged in order to continue expanding. Water temperatures that are rising can disrupt coral polyps, leading them to lose their algae that inhabit their tissues. This leads to coral bleaching, which means that the coral lose their color because they rely on the algae to obtain the pigmentation. The development of calcium carbonate in coral reefs is slowed down by ocean acidification, which also prevents the formation of coral skeletons. Coral bleaching is important since it is a frequent problem. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, around 75% of the world's tropical coral reefs experienced heat stress between 2014 and 2017 that was severe enough to cause bleaching. The heat stress was sufficient to damage coral for 30% of the world's reefs. Some of the most biodiverse ecosystems in the world are supported by coral reefs. Many marine species such as sea turtles, fish, crabs, shrimp, jellyfish, seabirds, starfish, and others depend on coral reefs for their survival. Shelter, habitat, and safety from predators are all provided by coral reefs. Already endangered species may go extinct when reef ecosystems disappear. Corals act as a natural barrier by absorbing the impact of tropical storms and waves, shielding coastal areas. Without them, we are forced to rely on human-made seawalls, which are more expensive, less effective, and more harmful to the environment. Bleached coral also worsen the overfishing problem by interrupting links from the food web and strip away some fish and crustaceans organisms from a place to reproduce and develop. Anyone who depends on these animals as their main source of income and protein will face challenges. Here are the locations most at risk when we're experiencing climate change and ocean acidification, which are Western Mexico, the nations of the Coral Triangle in Southeast Asia, Southern Indonesia, and Northwest Australia. These regions mostly have significant human reliance on coral reefs and suffer major CO2-related challenges. Coral reef bleaching and reef destruction are projected to occur in these areas by 2050, threatening fisheries and coastal preservations as well as human lives and the local economy.
These hazards have a severe impact on Earth's well-being. With every problem, there are always solutions.
There are several solutions you can do towards ocean acidification affecting coral bleaching, which are to use eco-friendly transportation so carbon emissions don't get trapped in the ocean, making the ocean more acidic, reduce the amount of fertilizers due to the chemicals that can be washed to the ocean by the rain, and lastly, recycle as well, throwing away your trash to prevent it from being in the ocean.
Here are a couple of solutions to help the animals of the Arctic and Antarctica. For one, we can always do better by reducing our carbon emission and dependence on fossil fuels. We can reduce the amount of electricity we use when we turn on the lights and TV. To really help, we can build seawalls to prevent the warm water from interfering with Antarctica and to prevent the collapse of the ice sheets as they melt.
And finally, to help our oceans, coral reefs that are homes to many species of marine animals and organisms, we can actually act on climate change. Like mentioned before, if we cut our carbon emissions, we limit future warming. In doing so, we reduce so much harm that can be further done to marine ecosystems. Reducing our carbon footprint is the best way we can help our oceans as well as preserve the life of marine organisms.